Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to our institution of Global Professional Phenomenon. Thank you all for joining and stay with us till the end. My lovely audience, today I am your host for the afternoon. My name is Yarin Sakta Chaudhuri and I am from Bangladesh. Dear audience, I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. I feel honored and privileged to host this webinar. It's my delight to welcome you all to our institution of Global Professional Free Webinars. Thank you all for joining us today in this marvelous afternoon, and it's my humble request to all of you stay with us till the end. Institution of Global Professionals serves student and community resource, providing holistic social work and education for create a competent generation. IGP is a leading on online skill development institute with thousands of learners worldwide. Institution of Global Professionalism Educational Institution provides social work with globally recognized. We organized our webinar training offline online courses. It's by based and trained speakers, coaches from all the world. Our mission is to empower people. We have already completed 1,000 webinars successfully. Let me remind you again, don't forget to tag, mention, share your friends. Uh, Now we go first start our webinar. Uh, don't let's together watch together and learn together. Today our webinar now is 1001 and our webinar topic is how to become a great teacher. And we have our speaker. Our speaker name is Sir Asif Azim, and he is from Pakistan. He is Director Azim Commerce Collegiate International Operation Manager at an IT firm. Let's invite our speaker. Hello, sir. Welcome, sir.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. Sir, I'm fine. You?
Yeah, all good here.
Sir, first you have to give some description about yourself, then you can start your presentation.
Yeah, myself, Asif Azim. I've been attached with the teaching industry. It's been more than 20 years. I started my teaching career in 2000, and it's been almost 22 years. I've been teaching different subjects, especially in commerce subjects. I've taught in multiple organizations, multiple private institutions here in Karachi, Pakistan. I've also been working as a professional at an IT firm, and I have an experience of approx 12 years. And I've also been running my own institute, but that I'm not running at the moment. This is my education teaching background. I've completed my master's in economics from University of Karachi, and I've also completed uh, project management professional training from virtual University of Pakistan, and rest I can share during the webinar as well.
Okay, sir. You can present your presentation.
Hello, my dear friends. Myself, Asif Azim. Today, my topic is how to be a good teacher. That will be a slightly change during the presentation. That will be moving towards how to be a great teacher. So, welcome to all of you, and I'm sure you are going to have a good learning today. It's my third webinar, I believe, on the platform of Institute of Global Professional. And fortunately, IGP has completed more than 1,000 webinar. So it's a big achievement for IGP, and that is free of cost. The most important point is it's free of cost for the whole, for each and everyone. The objective of IGP, I believe, is to train each and everyone from all around the world. So my topic is how to be good teacher. I've completed my master's in economics from University of Karachi in 2017. I've also completed project management professional certification from Virtual University of Pakistan. I believe you must have heard the name of Virtual University. So this certification is related to the project management, where we learn how to manage a project, how to document, how to execute, and many other sorts of items in there. I've also completed NLP practitioner. It's a certified. I'm a certified practitioner. NLP is neuro linguistic programming, and this is a point for you as well. If you have not heard about NLP, you must learn about NLP. It will help you in teaching as well. Excuse me. After 13 plus years of professional work experience, our diversified work experience, worked in multiple organizations. I started my professional career with an IT firm, then I moved toward an automobile company, and then another IT firm, and different organizations. So my major professional experience is in operations departments and accounts department. After 20 plus years of teaching experience, as I explained, I've also been serving as an advisor at CASID. CASID is a society of personal and professional training, which was established in 2019, and they have also the same objective to build a society to train each and every professionals in their professional life and personal life as well. I've also been a co-author for the book Business Communication, and I've also been I've also been involved in writing my own book as well, but that may take a long time. And so let's start. A good teacher. So very simple. Who should be a good teacher? I mean, what should be the characteristics of a good teacher? What are the essential elements to be a good teacher? If you want to be a good teacher, for example, you've started your teaching career and you are interested to make yourself as a good teacher. So, what are the characteristics? What are the essentials? What are the elements that you should have, that you should inculcate in yourself? So to my understanding is you should have a thorough knowledge of the subject you are teaching. Whatever the subject you are teaching, you should have a thorough knowledge. You should have a complete I cannot say a complete knowledge, but you should have a thorough knowledge as much as possible. For example, you are teaching accounting or mathematics or physics or chemistry. So the first role, that you should have a sound knowledge of the subject. Only then you can be able to enter into the classroom. Without that sound knowledge, you will not be able into the classroom. And then you should be able to make the subject interactive, not necessarily interesting or funny. Most of the people I've heard, they explain you should be uh, the class should be very interesting or very funny. So I have a slight disagreement with that word, or with that connotation, that I think you don't need to be funny. If you are a teacher, you are giving knowledge, you are sharing your thoughts, your knowledge with students. So you don't always need to be funny. But the most important, actually, the term is, you need to be interactive. You must interact with students. You need to make your classroom interactive. That should be a healthy discussion. You should give time to your students, or you should make such a question through which you can engage your students. I don't say you need to be funny or you need to share your funny stories to make class interactive, but you can share some stories, some success stories, or but each and everything that must be related with your subject. And then another characteristic, to my understanding, you should be willing to help the students rather than shout or getting angry. If they ask something, you should not get angry. You should be able to help your students. And another characteristic, you should be vigilant. You need to focus on the whole classroom. You should not be focusing on only one side of the classroom. Actually, you need to monitor the whole classroom, and you need to focus each and every student, what they are doing, where they are involved, whether they are listening to you or not, if they are facing any issues. So you can solve them. But the thing is how you can identify. You should have vigilance power. You need to focus on the whole classroom rather than focusing at the one side of the classroom or some specific students. So that will not be fair for everyone. So you need to be fair with each and every student, right? Another characteristic, which is actually the base characteristic, or to my understanding it is the second characteristic, for you to become a good teacher, you need to be punctual and disciplined. You should be you must always arrive at least 10 to 15 minutes before the class time. For example, you have a class at 1 p.m., so you should be there at least 10 minutes earlier to your classroom. If you come after your time, so actually it shows maybe you are a good teacher, maybe you have a good knowledge of the subject, but that shows you are not disciplined. If you cannot come on time, so what character is sick, or what gesture you will give to your students, what will they understand if a teacher cannot come on time? So that will actually goes down to your students as well. So you need to share the importance of time and the discipline. So to my understanding, after the thorough knowledge, you must be punctual and disciplined. Without your punctuality, without your discipline, you are having a good knowledge of the subject, but to my understanding, very sorry to say, you are not a good teacher. In fact, you are not a teacher at all. So because you are gonna spoil the environment, or you are going to give a negative gesture in students. And second, another one characteristic to be a good teacher, you need to be well dressed, well mannered, and well behaved, right? So most of the times it is also observed some of the teachers come to classroom or go to institution without taking care of their own dress, or um, they don't care actually. Sometimes it happens if you are experienced of more than 5 to 10 years. So it is observed that they because one after teaching 10 years or 5 years, you become expert of the subject. You are having a good knowledge of the subject, and you have been habitual of teaching. So, some teachers, they take it as granted and they go in a very casual manner. And trust me, you are gonna give a very negative gesture to the students. They will not be caring in future, because you are not transferring a good gesture to them. So it is one of the main characteristics. So here I've written only six characteristics how to be a good teacher. There may be 600 or 6,000 characteristics, but only to share my thoughts, I have written some of them with you. I'm sure you will agree to all of this. There is no point that you can disagree, but maybe it is observed sometimes teachers do not take care of the time and do not take care of the desk. So to my understanding, excuse me, to my understanding, even if you are teaching for more than 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, but these are the basic characteristics, these are the essentials. You should always be punctual, you should always be disciplined. And the thing is, students actually focus you, they actually see themselves in you. I mean, uh, they actually observe you are as a role model for students. So whatever you are doing, whatever the gestures you are giving, they will actually be transferred into the students. So you need to be very careful, or very disciplined, so that in short, whatever you want to make the students, you have to be yourself. Whatever you are giving that gesture to students, right? It's very simple to be a good teacher. And here is a point. It's very simple, a good teacher. What do you mean by very simple? Only by following these characteristics, these minimum, these essential characteristics, you can become a good teacher. But you should you should not be a good teacher actually. The point is, you don't need to be a good teacher. A good teacher is everyone, right? And you are a good teacher, but you are here, so you don't only need to be a good teacher. Actually, what actually you should become a great teacher, right? You need to understand whoever are having basic characteristics like having the knowledge of the subject and making the class interactive, asking questions, involving students. These are the characteristics of a good teacher. And you don't only need to be a good teacher. So what is the key point? You need to be a great teacher. Only by becoming a good teacher, you are not actually training properly, you are not actually um, uh, grooming students. You are only sharing the knowledge you have. That's not enough. That's fine, but that's the basic requirement only. That's the baseline requirement. But this is not the point. This is not the point where you can settle. If you are only a good teacher, you are having certain essentials skills, so you are actually settled. You are not growing. You need to be a great teacher. And now here the question, how to be a great teacher. I must tell you, I will tell you how to be a great teacher. An average teacher only teaches the topic. For example, someone is a teacher and he is teaching the topic, he is teaching the subject, he is having knowledge of the subject, so he is or she is an average teacher. A good teacher explains and demonstrates. This is actually a second level or second degree of a teacher. You explain and demonstrate the topic or the subject so that a student can learn. Why, right? That's fine. You have been a good teacher, but that's not enough. Trust me, it's not enough. You must not be settled there. So what is the third level? Third level is a great teacher. And who is a great teacher? A great teacher inspires actually. You must need to understand, right, what the key point here. If you are a good teacher, for okay, let me tell you otherwise. If you are explaining your subject and uh, all the students are learning the points you are explaining, you are a good teacher. But this is only a basic level. This is only a second degree, second level teacher, right? So what should be your goal actually? You are a teacher or you want to be a teacher, so your goal should be inspiring. A great teacher inspires students. You should be able, you need to learn actually, you need to learn how you can inspire to students. You must have experienced many teachers at your school life. If I suppose you have started your school life, you have passed out your school life, you must have experienced, you must have seen many teachers at your school life. But do you remember all of them? For example, if you just passed last year, maybe you remember all of them. But after completing your matriculation, suppose you have passed 10 years, if you completed your matriculation or 10th standard or graduation, uh, and it's been 10 years, so it's almost impossible to remember all of the teachers, right? You cannot remember all of the teacher. But which teacher do you remember the most? Which teacher do you remember the most? Let me tell you, the one who inspires you, right? Maybe you have experienced 10 to 15 teachers in your school life, but you don't remember actually all of them. But you must remember, I'm sure you will remember, the one who inspires you. And what is the meaning of inspire? How you can experience, how you can judge that someone has inspired you? So this is the topic that you are learning, how to be a great teacher. There are different characteristics which can make you a great teacher. There are there are thousands of characteristics that can make you the great teacher. I will try to tell you some of them, how you can become a great teacher. But remember, I've already told you how to become a good teacher, right? So you don't need to forget, you must remember the minimum six characteristics of becoming a good teacher. this these are the baseline. You must have those characteristics, but that is actually the minimum requirement. In addition, you need to add some different skills, some different characteristics, some different attitudes, some different signs, gestures. Only then you can become a great teacher. A great teacher must be, for example, it's inspired by some other training institutions. You need to be talented. So what do you mean by talented? Talented is actually the total requirement of becoming a good teacher. For example, you are having a sound knowledge of the subject, right? And you know how to handle the classroom. You focus each and everyone in the classroom. You give attention to each and everyone, right? And you did have the experience of the subject. For example, you are teaching accountancy, so you must have the professional experience, right? If you are having a professional experience and you have a good knowledge of the subject and you have the degree of the subject, only then you are talented. So it is the first or it is not the first, but it is one of the most important and most basic characteristics of a good teacher and a great teacher. So here at this level, you are actually in the same level. If you are talented, you are a good teacher. But what is the other factor? What are other characteristics to become a great teacher? So you need to be very energetic. You must have experienced many teachers who enter into the classroom uh, with a very low gesture. For example, you have passed your whole day, and let's say you are in an institution which run in the evening classes, right? And in the morning you are doing some other business. For example, you are working somewhere, and in the evening you are coming to an institution. So it is observed that they come with a very lazy gesture, because they are already tired, they are already exhausted. But I don't know why they are involved in the teaching. Maybe some peanuts, some money. But you are not going to earn there as well, because you are not energetic, you are not uh, putting your efforts, you are not uh, giving your time, your due time. Actually, why it happens, right? You need to understand. For example, someone is teaching, and he is not energetic in teaching. So why it happens? I must tell you, those people who are teaching, that is not by choice, that is by, for example, some compulsion or some helplessness. They are in the teaching field. You will find they will get exhausted, they will get fatigued, so they are never energetic actually. And on the other side, if you see those people who are actually interested in teaching, who are teacher by choice. If you are a teacher by choice, you will enjoy your teaching, right? You of course you must have a good knowledge of the subject. But if you are, for example, you have done 3 classes and now you have 4 classes, if teaching is not your passion, you will be exhausted. You will not be giving your full potential to the classroom, because you are not in your passion. You are doing something that you don't love it. So what is the key point? You need to love your profession. You need to love your teaching. Only then it will actually help you to become energetic in the classroom. So to become a great teacher, one of the basic requirements, you need to be energetic. And how can you become energetic? Only when you can become energetic if you are passionate in teaching, if you love your teaching, if you are interested in teaching, then only then you can become energetic. Otherwise you will get exhausted, and even this will give a negative impression to the whole classroom, right? So to my advice, if you are not a passionate teacher, if you are not a teacher by choice, so please find some other profession where you are interested, where you have your passion, right? If you are doing the work where you are passionate, you will never be exhausted. This is a touchstone actually. You can test in the way, if you are doing something, you are getting exhausted, it means you are not in your I mean, com- if, not comforts actually. You are not doing the thing you love, so you need to go in the profession which you love, right? And what is the other characteristics? Ambitious, right? Suppose you are talented, you are energetic, but if you are not ambitious, so you will not be able to set high standard goals. What you need to do, you need to set some high standard goals. So what is some high standard goal? This is not a high standard goal that you want to be famous uh, in the whole city. Maybe this is a goal for someone, but to my understanding, high ambitious goal is, you should make your students uh, such uh, such talented or such valuable, which can make impact in the whole society. Impact in a sense, who can do something best in the society. So you should make goals. If you are in the teaching field, you should make goals related to your students. For example, you have hundreds or thousands of students, so you should set a goal, what percentage or how many students must go to that university. For example, some medical universities are there, some engineering universities are there. So you need to set the goal for your students. If you set the goal for your students, you will actually be working harder than previous. So it will help you both ways, right? Both ways in what? If your students grow, if your students are growing, actually you are also growing. You will be growing because your growth is connected with your students growth, right? If your students are not growing, there means you are not growing actually, right? So you need to see, you need to focus how your students can grow. If you want if you are focusing on your students, so you will have to groom yourself as well. You will have to sharpen yourself. For example, you have done your graduation and you are in the teaching field, so that's not enough, right? You must not stop at that level. You must go for your masters and then go for your higher studies, so then go for your doctorate and some other. But at the same time, as you are teaching, you should also be improving your knowledge as well, so that you should be giving more knowledge or more valuable things to your students. And what is this? This is a cheerful characteristic, right? If you want to be a great teacher, you need to be cheerful. So what is this cheerful? Cheerful, as I said in the beginning, you don't need to be funny, right? To Very sorry to say, you don't need to be a joker in the classroom. So what is it? You actually need to interact with students, right? You need to give time to students. You need to see how you can solve the issues of students, what they are facing in their study. For example, you are teaching some topic which students are not understanding, right? So you need to share some related stories, some success stories, right? And maybe you can add some humor, right? That's fine. But if you are having a good knowledge, right, you are having a good control, and you are not a cheerful person, so what will happen? It will actually spoil the atmosphere of the classroom, right? And the main point is, for example, you are having some personal problems, right, at your family or somewhere. You have some personal issues, some personal conflicts in your family members. So since you are a human, it will show some impact in your personality, which will affect the classroom, right? Here you need to learn how you can actually adjust with your personal problems. Your personal problem should never be reflected in your personality when you are in the classroom. I have seen many teachers who explain their personal problems in the classroom. I don't know why. Maybe they share their personal problems to gain some sympathy, maybe. But trust me, this is going to give a very bad gesture to your students. You should never share any personal issues, right? You should always be cheerful. Whatever the personal problems you are facing in your personal life, that should be kept aside. It should not be discussed in the classroom, and it should not even be reflected uh, in you when you are in the classroom. You need to be very cheerful, and it when it can happen, right? So one more thing, you need to connect it. If you are passionate in teaching, for example, you are having some personal problems, right? And then uh, you came to teaching. So what will happen, since you are passionate in teaching, your personal problem will be left aside, and you will be happy in the classroom, because you came, for example, you are a fish and you need water, right? So when a fish comes into a water, that's his life is growing, that's his settle. But if a fish doesn't find water, right, so that will be a problem. So you need to be cheerful. And of course we all understand, it is one of the basic characteristics to be a great teacher. It's human, right? You need to understand the psychology of students as well. You are also uh, you also need to understand your own psychology, your own uh, interests, likes, dislikes, right? And you need to act accordingly. At the very same time, you need to understand students as well. You need to focus on students, on their interest, on their likes. I will explain in some other slides as well about their personality types, so that will help you as well. But you need to understand the human characteristic of yourself and of students as well, right? And what is this eloquent, right? It is one of the characteristics. So do you have any thought about the eloquent, Sylvie? Yeah, you can share in your comment box as well, from where you are, wherever you are watching this video. Yeah, eloquent is, this is actually how you express yourself. Eloquent is how you express yourself. For example, you are having a good knowledge, right? You are a cheerful person, right? And teaching is your profession as well. But you also need to understand the fluency, how eloquent you are, right? You need to have uh, a homework. You need to do a homework. For example, you are teaching uh, one topic. For example, you are teaching your resistance, or for example, Newton's law in the physics and some other. There may be uh, the points which may be some boring for students, right? So you need to do some homework. You need to study, you need to research which stories can be shared in the classroom, through which you can become eloquent, right? I mean the fluency. You need to understand how you can become fluent. So it is one of the main characteristics of a great teacher, right? And what is some other characteristic, right? Here you have resourceful. So what do you mean by resourceful? If you want to be a great teacher, so you also uh, be a resourceful. We mean you must have the required resources, right? Required resources, I mean, for example, you are teaching chemistry. So in the chemistry, you need some resources as well. For example, you are teaching some laws, and to explain, to demonstrate that laws, you need some equipments there, some appliances there. So if you are having those appliances, those equipments in the classroom, that will actually help you explain your topic easily, and even students will understand easily. So you need to be resourceful, right? For example, you are teaching accountancy, so a good presentation, a good visual ad, or a screen, or a multimedia, that will actually help you. You should have those facilities. If not, you should try to acquire, you should try to arrange those resources, because only uh, through those resources you can save time of students, right? And you can give a good learning to them, because uh, if they will see, if they see what you are doing, they will remember the last, right? Only by listening, only by hearing, they will not be remembering the last, right? They may listen, but they may not remember. But if you show them with some experiences, some experiments, so they will remember. So you need to acquire some resources, whatever the required resources. For example, you need a whiteboard. There should be a whiteboard, of course there will be, but you also need a standee, you also need a flip chart. For example, you also need some sticky notes and some other things. So these things should be available with you. You need to plan yourself actually. Without planning, you cannot become a great teacher. You can be an average teacher, you can be a good teacher, that's fine. But to become a great teacher, you need to add these characteristics in your teaching, right? And what is decisive, right? You need to be very decisive. What I mean by decisive, you need to take decision. For example, you have thought something that you are going to teach uh, a certain topic in the classroom, right? And then when you enter into the classroom, you start explaining. But you see, if you recap the previous topics with the students, if you see they are having any issue with the past topics, so you need to be decisive there. You need to take a decision whether you should start a new topic or not. For example, if you start a new topic, so what is the benefit of starting a new topic? Because students did not understand the past topic. If you teach them a new topic, they will not understand this topic, and there will be a mix up. So decisive, by decisive I mean you need to take decision uh, when you are in the classroom. You may need to change the topic, you may don't you may need not to start a new topic, or you may need to have a surprise test in the classroom, right? Or for example, sometimes you are teaching a topic and your class time has finished, so only 5 minutes or 10 more minutes are required, for example, in to explain that topic. So you need to take a decision. You need to ask your students whether you can have more 10 minutes in the classroom or not, right? Of course you will need, but you need to give the liberty to the students. You can discuss with them, you can give an offer if they agree, and they should agree actually, because they are learning there. So you should complete that topic in the same class rather than going to the next class. So you need to be very decisive in the classroom as well, right? Right. Excuse me. Yes, I believe uh, for today, this is the last characteristic of becoming a great teacher. So what is there? This is an assessor. And what you mean by assessor, right? Yeah, can you share something in your chat, in your comments? What do you understand by assessor? Assessor is actually, the meaning is, you need to assess the classroom. It is not that assessment, right? It is not the assignment actually. It is the assessment of students. For example, you are having 40 students in your classroom. So you need to be a good assessor. You for you are having a good observation, right? You observe each and every one in the classroom. You are making the classroom interactive. But it is one of the most important characteristic to becoming a great teacher. You need to be a good assessor, right? You actually need to observe the personality types of students. You will see there are different types of students, and the biggest mistake most of the teachers make in the classroom, they try to handle each and every one with the same formula, with the same strategy, same methodology. They try to handle the whole classroom, and this is the biggest mistake, trust me, I'm telling you. You must not cater each and every one with the same formula. You need to assess when you are in the classroom. You are expert of your subject, you are having a sound knowledge, right? You can make the class interactive, and all these characteristics you are having. You are a cheerful, you are thoughtful, right? But the most important characteristic, one of the most important characteristic, to my understanding, this is the most important characteristic. You need to be assessor in the classroom. You need to assess the personality type of your students. There are different personality types. For example, let me share uh, one difference, right? Regarding the response, you will find some introvert students and some extrovert students, right? So what is the point here? The point is, you need to first, you need to assess who are introverts and who are extroverts. And to make your class interactive, for example, you are asking a question to an introvert student. You know that the one is introvert, and you are asking a question to that introvert student, so most likely he or she will not be able to answer you. Trust me. That doesn't mean actually the student doesn't know the answer, but the issue is the student is an introvert personality. He will face issues in response in the whole classroom. He is very comfortable in telling you in one to one, but when you ask with the whole classroom, that will be an issue with that student. So what is the point? The point is, when you are asking a question in the classroom and you want that question should be answered by a student, you should actually first try to ask the question to an extrovert personality. It doesn't matter he can reply you correct or not, but you should ask the question to the extrovert personality. What will happen? He will reply you, he will give you the answer, right? Maybe the answer is correct or not, but with this practice it will actually make the atmosphere of the classroom to give answer, right? And through which you can maintain the interactivity in the classroom, and then you can uh, actually convince, you can persuade some introvert student as well to answer some questions. So you need to be a good assessor. This is the most important characteristic to becoming a great teacher. If you ask question each and every one, you will face challenges, I'm telling you. You need to assess who are introvert personalities in the classroom and who are extrovert personalities. You need to answer ask questions to your extrovert personalities in the classroom, right? But that doesn't mean introvert personalities are not genius. Everybody is a genius, I'm telling you. Everybody is a genius. If you are having 40 students in the classroom, trust me, I'm telling you, all 40 and 40 students are genius. So what is the issue? The issue is you actually need to identify their best traits and characteristics, in what they are best. Even you can see, you can observe, all teachers are not good, all teachers are not best, right? There are different types of personalities in the world. So you need to understand, you need to have the training of you can have the training of MBTI, Myers-Briggs Types Indicator, right? We have a very famous trainer in Pakistan. You can get those trainings as well, but you need to be very good in the assessment. You need to assess your students, and you need to ask. So what about the introvert personalities? For example, as I told you, you should not ask questions directly to introvert personality in the beginning. So what is the other key? The other key is you should ask some questions in writing. For example, you write some questions on the whiteboard, and you ask students to write the answers in their answer sheets or the copies. You will see the introvert personality will give uh, maybe better answer, or actually the earliest answer. They will write answer very easily because they are very comfortable uh, in their uh, they actually don't like interacting many people, right? They are comfortable in their own. So you can ask questions on the whiteboard and they will give you answer, right? So you must have experienced some surprises as well. For example, you are having a very good student in the classroom, and you think that student is a very genius, right? But when the result arrives, for example, the result of exam final board result arrive, you see a change. You see the one student who you think is not a good student got the highest mark in the exam because he was an introvert personality. So you need to understand the personality. So I have a lot to speak about the personality types. You have introvert and extrovert, you have sensor, you have judger, right? You have thinker, you have feeler, and you can have 16 or more than 16 types of personality. But you must understand the personality types of students. And how can you understand? Actually, first you need to understand your personality. You need to assess your own personality. What's your personality? If you can't find your own personality, how can you assess the personality of students? So first you need to find your own personality. Personality type is actually tells you the tendency or the preference or the natural tendency or the natural preference. Some people are very good at alone, they are actually the introvert personality. And some people are very good meeting people, discussing people, right? They are extrovert personality. So you need to understand your personality as well, and the personality of students, and it will help you make your classroom interactive, right? And it will help you how you can teach them easily, right? And never forget, as I told you earlier, everybody is a genius. Everybody, trust me, I'm telling you. If you have 100 students, all of them are genius. If you have thousands of students, all of them are genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it's stupid. So whose mistake? It's not the mistake of a student actually. It's your mistake actually. You are judging the wrong way. So you need to understand, you need to identify the strength of each and every student. There must be some strengths and weaknesses. And first, I'm telling you, first you need to identify your own strengths and weaknesses. You must know where you are good and where you are weak. If you are weak in some areas, that's not an issue. You need to work on that areas. You can improve those weak areas, and then you can have the strength. So you need to uh, understand the personality types, and I'm sure it will help you. So there's a lot more to speak, but I would like to conclude my session here, I tried myself to become to make it concise and relevant to the topic, right? So the objective of this webinar is how to become a great teacher, right? The basic requirement is to become a good teacher, and after becoming a good teacher, you should work on how you can become a great teacher. And I hope you must have got a good learning. Please do share your learning. And if you have a question, and now I will mm, hand over to the host, please.
Thank you so much, sir, for your
Yeah,
presentation. It has
no
been
worries.
a great presentation. Now it's time for our quiz session. After completed our quiz session, we come back again in our question answer session. Okay, sir?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure, no problem.
Dear participant, it's time for our quiz session. So mention your friends to join our quiz session. To join this session, you have to go slido.com, then you have to enter the code, and the code is IGP2. After short video, we'll start our quiz session. So let's enjoy the our quiz session. Dear participant, it's time for our quiz session. To join this session, you have to go slido.com, then you have to enter the code, and the code is IGP2. And already 45 people join in our session. So please, everyone, join early in our session. We are still waiting for your joining. And don't forget to mention your friends to join our quiz session. And dear participant, we'll pick your name from Slido. So join with your full name, which will directly print on certificates. And top 10 will be awarded with quiz comprehension certificates. Now start our quiz session. First question. How did Alexander show the influence of his teacher, Aristotle? First option, in his love of Greek culture. Second option, in his warlike ambition. And the correct answer is first option, in his love of Greek culture, and 82% people are right. And the top ranker is Genial Wheeler Restoration. Second on question, how would a man become a member of Athens Council of 500? First option, he was chosen in a drawing. Second option, he overthrew a council member. And the correct answer is option 1, he was chosen in a drawing, and 47% people are right. And now our top ranker is Jamilian de Rivera. Now we go for our third now question. Ja- Janet told her teacher about her desire to become a doctor. Which word best describe desire? First option feeling, second option wish. And the correct answer is second option wish, and 64% people are right. And the top ranker is Nikha Jinnah Jabair. Fourth now question. Did Nartul ever become a Johnny? Option 1 yes, second option no. And the correct answer is option 2 no, and 36% people are right. And our top ranker is Jemima B. Sabilo. Now we go for our fifth now question. I want to be not only your teacher dash your friend. First option although, second option but also. And the correct answer is but also, 94% people are right. And our top ranker is Jemima B. Sabilo. Now we go for our sixth now question. How often do you dash lies? First option tell, second option say. The correct answer is tell, and 94% people are right. Seven long question, his poetry dash a great sense of religious devotion. First option conveys, second option theme. And the correct answer is conveys, and 100% people are right. And again, our top ranker is Jemima B. Sabelo. Now we go for our eighth knock question. PI Pip wanted to become a guide dog. First option true, second option false. And the correct answer is true, and 79% people are right. Now, question, she learned how to get food for herself. Is it true or false? And the correct answer is true, and 97% people are right. Our last question. I have to study every day dash I become an adult. Is it first option until or second option is after? And the correct answer is until, and 97% people are right. Congratulations, Jimima B. Sabelo. She's our top ranker. Then in second position, Joel Barnasser. In third position, Ricky R. Kolima. In fourth position, Jamyang Lahmo SHSS. In fifth position, Charlene Salijo Yamguchi. Congratulations, our top 10 quiz competition winner. Today's competition winner, we have all of your name which you entered during joining. We will pick and prepare certificate and we'll post them on our Facebook official page. Our Facebook official page is Institution of Global Professional. Now we go our question answer session. After short video, we start our question answer session. Participants are requested to ask their question in our comment box. Please address speaker name. After question answer, we will share certification process. So let's enjoy our question answer session. Welcome everyone to our question answer session. If you have any question, you can ask in our comment box. We are still waiting for your questions, so please ask your question. Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'm here.
Welcome back, sir, in our question answer session.
Yeah, sure. Welcome. Can you give me 1 second? Just a moment.
Yes, you can.
Just a moment. Yeah, I'm back.
We'll go ahead and take some time for question. Now, just a reminder, please be sure to type your question in our comment box. Sir, our first question from Flomi. Good afternoon, sir. To receive, why is it important to be a great teacher?
Yeah, that's a fine question. Why it's important to be a great teacher? It's very important to be a great teacher, and the reason is, for example, you are in a classroom and you are teaching to, uh, for example, 40 students, right? And you are a good teacher, simply. So what will happen? Every 40 students will get the learning of the subject, right? Because you're a good teacher and you are not a great teacher. So the question is, why is it important to be a great teacher? Actually, every student uh, may sees you as a role model. I'm telling you, with my experience, a student, the first, very first role model for every student is the class teacher. The teacher is whoever the teacher is there. So if you are an average teacher, if you are only a good teacher, you are not a great teacher, what will happen? You will produce average people in the society. You will produce mediocre people. They will not be able to do anything in their professional life, in their personal life as well. So you need to be a great teacher, because every student sees you as a role model. And to become a great teacher, you will have to inculcate multiple characteristics. You need to be very different from a normal good teacher. So this is the most important thing. If you are a teacher, you must be a great teacher. Actually, it's not a choice. It's a mandatory, it's a must requirement. You need to be a great teacher. Only then you can be able to produce great people in the society. So I hope it's clear for you.
Okay,
Flami
sir.
was there.
Uh, our second question from Princess Joy. Sir, how can you motivate students?
Yeah, Princess, the first thing is you need to be motivated yourself, right? You must be motivated. If you are passionate in your teaching, you will be motivated, you will be happy, you will be comfortable. If you are not passionate in your teaching, you will not be motivated. So the question is, how can you motivate students? There are multiple elements. There are multiple ways how you can motivate students. For example, by sharing some success stories. Most of the times I have seen students facing some personal problems. Maybe some, they are having some financial issues, they are having some family problems, right? And this has been a reason for them for not growing. So how can you motivate them? You can share the stories of those people who were facing the same problems, right? And now they have become successful in their professional life. For example, you must have heard the name of Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, right? So he was also having many problems in their lives, in his lives. But we can see how he has grown now. He is the CEO of Google. So how can we motivate students? We can motivate students by sharing these success stories with them. But the stories must be relevant, right? For example, if you are a physics teacher, you should give the stories of your those personalities who have been successful in physics, in the field of physics, right? And if you are in other field, you need to share some relevant stories. So it is one of the factor, how you can motivate. You can motivate students by sharing some success stories. This is point one. And what other, you may give some benefit to them. For example, you are having a class test, right? And after test you will display the name of top 10 or top 5 on the board. So it will give them recognition, like IGP is doing. Whoever will be the winner of the quiz, IGP is mentioning their names on their sites, right? It's a recognition for them. IGP is going to give certificates to them, right? It's a motivation for our audience, for the people who are watching these videos. So these are, there are thousands of ways to motivate students. You need to, of course, search how you can motivate, but these were the two ways how you can motivate them. I hope it's clear for you, Princess.
Right, thank you. Then our next question from Annie Sito. Good afternoon, sir. What is the best way to assess each individual characteristic of the students?
Yeah, that's a very relevant question, Anisito. And this is the most important point of this webinar: how to assess individual characteristics of the students, right? For example, you are having 40 students in the classroom, so it's quite challenging to assess all the 40 students differently. So what you need to do, actually, you need to learn the personality types, right? For example, I have told you, as there are some introvert personalities and some extrovert personalities, right? So what you can do, you can observe them, and you can identify, for example, 10 of them are introvert and 30 of them are extrovert personalities. So now you have only two students in the classroom. You were seeing 40 students, but now you have only two categories, because 10 of them are introverts and 30 of them are extroverts. So you have identified them. So but it's a question, how can you identify each and every one? That needs your experience. Actually, you need to be focused. You cannot learn in one day, but you can learn, right? You can learn with the passage of time. If you focus in that area that you want to assess the students, then you will have in your mind, right? And when it can happen, it can happen when you're teaching, your subject knowledge has come into your subconscious, right? You are the expert of your subject, you have the ground knowledge of your subject. So you don't need to worry about the questions, about the topics, about the examples, because you are expert of that. But after becoming expert of your subject, or having the knowledge of your subject, now you have the point, you can assess the students, because you are expert of your subject. You don't need to worry about the questions, about the topics. You know each and everything. So assess each and every individual is very important, and the best way is the personality type. MBTI type is one of them, or other you can give some exercises, right? For example, you give some exercises to make, to give a topic and make some teams. For example, you are out of 40 students, you can make 10 5 teams of 10, 4 teams of 10 each. And then you give a topic, you give a topic to study, to brainstorm, to think. And you can see who is the leader in them, right? Who is leading. There are 10 students in one group, but everyone will not be sharing the whole idea, but everyone will be sharing the idea among his team. So through such activities, you can assess each and every individual in the classroom. I hope it's clear for you, Anisito. Even if you have more question, you can ask me later as well.
Sir, our next question from Isha. Sir, Ajim, is it correct to say the affective domain contributes for one to be a great teacher?
Of course, it is one of the essential requirement, actually, Isaiah. Affective domain contributes to be a great teacher, because if you are not in your domain, and you want to be a great teacher, it's impossible, trust me, right? For example, you have never experienced some accountancy of the professional life, so you will only be giving the knowledge of what is written theoretically there. You will not be having a practical knowledge, right? So it is one of the drawback, actually. I'm telling you, and it is one of the reasons why doctors earn more than teachers. It's a very debatable question. Why do doctors earn more than teachers? Because they have a certified degree. They go through some specific processes. You cannot become a doctor unless you have completed your mbbs, and it takes you 5 to 6 years, and then you have some house jobs as well. Only then you become a good doctor, right? So the problem is, everybody can become a teacher. There is no certification process, right? There is no rule, there is no check and balance. But you need to be in your own domain, right? You need to decide your domain. So how can you decide your domain? Actually, you need to assess your personality type. If, for example, you are an introvert personality and you are going to a sales job, if you do that, I'm quite sure you are not gonna be very successful in your professional life, right? So you need to choose your field as well as per to your personality and your domain. So it's very important that effective domain contributes for you to become a great teacher. So I hope it's clear for you, Asaya.
Sir. Sir, next question from Amilita. Sir Azim, what is the difference between licensed teacher and professional teacher?
Yeah, there are differences, Amelita. Licensed teacher and professional teacher. Licensed teacher uh, are the ones, for example, who have qualified some criteria, some eligibility. For example, an institution needs a teacher who is having a master's degree. So the individual has a license to become a teacher there. But is he a professional teacher? You need to see, right? You need to see, is he a professional teacher? Is a one who is having uh, totally involving himself in the field of teaching and education, right? So licensed teacher, there may be different IT. A professional teacher is always a licensed teacher, but every licensed teacher is not necessarily a professional teacher. So you need to identify like that. I hope it's clear for you, Amilita.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I think we covered all of our question. Is there anything else you wanted to tell our participant?
Yeah, I must tell you, you need to choose your profession as per your personality, as per your passion, as per your interest, and you must need to observe your own personality type. You need to make assessment of your personality, and you need to assess your students as well. That will actually help you to become a great teacher, right? So you should always focus in assessment of your personality types. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
and I
sir.
hope that's all.
On behalf of IGP, our profound thanks for taking out the time from your busy schedule to present the slides about how to become a great teacher. I think everyone sitting there is fascinated by your presentation. Those slides give
Yeah, no
everyone
problem.
a great idea. Again, I'd like to offer our thanks for sharing your knowledge and your valuable time. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, welcome. No problem at all.
Okay. Uh, Dear participant, now it's time for to give you webinar code. Today program name is how to become a great teacher, and the code is IGP 667, and the code is IGP 667. How to claim your e-certificate? First, you have to go to www.edioigp.com. Then you have to click sign in. Then you have to log in if you are already have an account, or create new account if you are new. Once logged in, click Free Webinar and select the webinar's title and click Continue Courses. Get enrolled if you have not enrolled yet and tap the code in your certificate code box, and the code is IGP667, and the code is IGP6667, and click get your certificates. It is auto downloadable in PDF file already. Without code, no one is eligible for certificates. With code, you can claim your certificate anytime. Dear participant, I think everyone can learn from our webinar, and thank you for your active participation. See you again next time. Till that, stay happy and healthy. Thank you so much, everyone.